pumping on the grind. If it's LJ from Houston, pulling up stats, you'll be pulling in stacks, hitting bookies from the back with no Vaseline. I need green and up see quantities for a fiend, save the dreams for a king. This is H-Town, home of the lean. Astros is the team, and we rock it. We rock Texans for life, you can't stop it. Together like brothers and Becks and Jets.
What's going on, sports fans? Early Sunday morning, once again, week 6 NFL. And of course, I got to give out my props right now because this Baltimore and Titans game is finna kick off. So I just want to give my props in right quick. I don't have any banners this morning. It's too many props to go through because I got some looks at every single game. I didn't take a bet in every single game, but I got some suggestions. I got some honorable mentions that y'all can look at before it kick off at noon. But right now, I just want to jump in right now while y'all watching live right now, and y'all can get into this Baltimore and Titans game. And pretty much all I did was just parlay both field goal kickers to get over 1.5 field goals. Nick Folk for the Titans, I have him at over 1.5. They had him at plus 100. You know, he's averaging 2.5 field goals on the season, averaging 3 field goals the last 2 weeks. And not to mention, Baltimore allows 2.5 field goals made. So I believe that both teams, now let me go to Tucker, over 1.5 field goals. They had that at minus 141. And I believe the reason why that number is so juicy is because I believe both of these field goal kickers are going to be in this game making a difference because both these teams may keep each other out of the red zone. I believe it's going to be a defensive game. You know, Baltimore had a letdown versus Pittsburgh. You know, that was, you know, I didn't really like that. And I'm just looking at them to probably bounce back, you know, make them show somewhat of a better team that they were last week, turnovers and things like that. And for us, the Titans, they have a great pass defense. Rush defense, I'm sorry. So Baltimore, if they can run the ball and they have to make pass plays, I believe that the Titans can probably keep them out of the red zone for the most part. So both field goal kickers are going to have to put some points up today. So the fact that Tucker is minus 141, might as well just parlay with the other field goal kicker, you know, Nick Folk, who's averaging, like I say, 3 field goals in his last 2 games. And Baltimore gives up field goals. So that's the first prop for this London game, ladies and gentlemen. So if y'all want to get in, y'all can get in now. It still should be up. They're singing the national anthem right now. All right, let's move on to this game. Down here, Houston, Texas, ladies and gentlemen, we have the New Orleans Saints coming to Houston to take on these Texans. And full disclosure, I'm already on the under 42.5. I bet as soon as the number came out because both of these teams trend to the under. The Saints have went 11 unders in 11 games to the under. And for the most part, Saints defense allows only 16 first downs a game. They only allow 5 points in the first half. They only allow 165 passing yards on the road. And they're top 2 at opponents' completion percentage. Now, when you move over to the Texans, the defense only allows 15 first downs at home. They only allow 8 points in the first half, and the defense has given up 0 passing touchdowns. So once I did all this research, I came to an understanding that since both of these teams run the ball under 100 yards, red zone is pretty much, you know, half and half to where if they get in the red zone, they may kick field goals, but 9 times out of 10, they're not scoring in the red zone. And the Texans average 3 field goals a game. So they're scoring field goals instead of touchdowns. So I came to all that realization. And as far as the Texans, I believe that it's going to be a tough game for them. They are a home dog for a reason. The Saints have a better defense, in my opinion, and that's what I think is going to prevail. Now, I was looking at C.J. Stroud's interception minus 106. He hasn't thrown an interception all year, but the Saints defense is averaging an interception per game. Now, granted, they played some interception-prone quarterbacks. They played Mac Jones recently. They played Jordan Love. They played Bryce Young. I think they played Baker Mayfield. So they've played some interception-prone quarterbacks. Now, C.J. Stroud, not to say he's not that guy. You know, he's played very well than most of those quarterbacks I just named, probably all of them for the most part, I think about it. But could today be the game that he shows us some adversity, shows us some things that he didn't expect to see for the most part going into this week 6? I believe the Saints can put that pressure on him. I believe that front four, you know, is very, very relentless. And They can get into the lanes and try to get sacks and get him off his launching point. Put some pressure on him to make a decision. So all that said, I haven't took the bet yet, but I'm very, very leaning to the minus 106 interception for CJ Stroud. And I just don't believe that he can go 6 weeks without throwing an interception. It's going to happen eventually. And with the Saints defense, it's prone to happen because they cause turnovers, and that's what they do. They're averaging an interception a game. So, but the bet that I am on, Alvin Kamara, anytime touchdown, minus 126. And the reason why I'm on that is because the Texans defense allows the worst rushing touchdown percentage at 72. Bottom 30th, I'm sorry. They allow a rushing touchdown a game. Now, I say the Saints, if they do move the ball and they're moving the chains on the Texans and they get into a red zone situation or close to that, I believe that they'll give it to Alvin Kamara and he will punch this ball in. He's been playing well since he's came back. He's a target out of the backfield catching and running. So he can either get the running touchdown or he can get the reception touchdown. Both of them are going to count on this bet. Anytime touchdown, minus 126 is the first prop bet, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm taking in this game. Now, I don't have banners, as I mentioned earlier when I started this video. So if y'all taking notes, get some pen and paper out. I just want to let y'all know that I don't have the banners. I didn't have time to do it. It's too many props that I want to mention and go through. So y'all can sit back, get your pen and some paper, and let's have class, because I'm giving y'all all the research that I've done throughout the week to see if we can get some money and see if we can jump on these plays. So moving on to the next game, we have the Washington Commanders going to Atlanta to take on these Falcons. Now, I have one bet in this game. I have Logan Thomas, over 39.5 receiving yards, minus 114. And the reason why I have this bet, ladies and gentlemen, is because the Atlanta Falcons have allowed 5 tight ends to average 6 receptions and 55 receiving yards in the 5 games that they've played this year. And those 5 receivers at the tight end position have scored 3 touchdowns out of those 5 games. Now, did a little bit more digging on the Falcons because I want to see how are they defending this position. So I went back last year and I looked at 10 tight ends that the Atlanta Falcons played last year. Ladies and gentlemen, those 10 tight ends averaged 58.5 receiving yards on them. So this is something that Atlanta is trending towards. They cannot defend this position. Now, Logan Allen, going back to him, he's had a decent season so far. I don't think he had a good game the last game, but I believe that he will come into play this week because I just feel that if I know that Atlanta has trouble guarding this position, Washington's coaching staff, especially Eric Bieniemy, who's a smart guy, he's added a lot of offense to that team. So I believe he will be smart enough to key in on that matchup and give Logan Thomas some looks. So I didn't take the receptions. I believe it's at 4.5, but I'm going to take the yards because he may get 2 or 3 catches and he could go over that threshold 40 yards, So I'm just going to be safe with that and take the over 39.5 receiving yards for Logan Thomas, minus 114. Now, another look over here could be the field goal kicker for the Atlanta Falcons. Young Ho, over 1.5 field goals because Washington gives up the most field goals in the NFL at 3. So if they can keep Atlanta out of the red zone, which I probably think Washington's defense can, they're top 5, so they're not a pushover. So if they can keep Atlanta pretty much out of the red zone and have Young Ho attempt field goals, you probably should cash 2 of them because Washington's giving up the most in the NFL. That lets me know they're keeping teams out of the red zone. So those are my 2 looks for that game. So we can move on to this game. The Seattle Seahawks going to the Cincinnati Bengals. Geno Smith versus Joe Burrow. So my play in this game, we're going back to the young ho, Joe Burrow. Over 37.5 pass attempts, minus 124. And the reason why we're doing that is because Seattle's defense allows 280 passing yards. They allow the most plays in the NFL at 73. And they allowed the most pass attempts at 41 a game. Now, Joe Burrow getting healthy, I believe. And he lit up the Cardinals defense last week with Jamar Chase. So I believe the same situation can happen this week. Now, if they win the game is a different story. And if he gets the yards, that's a different story. But the fact that Cincinnati rush percentage is at the bottom of the league, ranked 29th in rush attempts, their 66 pass play percentage is top 3. So if I see that you're passing the ball most of the time that you're on the field, those are attempts. I don't have to get the completions. I don't have to get the yards. I just have to get the attempts. Even if you throw the ball away out of bounds, if you throw it to the ground, any type of throw will count as a pass attempt. And I believe that Joe Burrow will have to have over 37 pass attempts today for them to be valuable and try to win this game. And this is what Seattle does. They give up 41 pass attempts to the opposing quarterback. So that means that they're stopping that run pretty much, making you beat them from the pocket. So if Joe Burrow is going to have to beat them from the pocket today, we're going to trust that these pass attempts go over 37 and a half. So I am official on that. Joe Burrow over 37 and a half pass attempts, minus 124. Now, let's move on to this game. We have the Colts at Jacksonville. Let me shout out to the chat right here. Brother Walker, what's going on, my guy? Top of the morning, my brother. You taking team total over 4.5. Houston Astros game total. They facing the lefty. You know what, Mr. Walker? Full disclosure, I am on that bet. And I'm also on the first 5 over 4.5 total as well, because a lot of people are trending to the under today. They got Montgomery and Verlander. They think they're going to pitch very well, and that score is going to go under. I'm sorry. I believe it goes over in the first 5. Now, after the first 5, it's up in the air. I don't need, but it still could go under full game if the total goes over 4.5 first 5. So, yes, Mr. Walker, I am official on that play. Shout out to my guy. So, let's get back to this. We have Indianapolis Colts. Oh, game break, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Tucker is attempting a field goal right now because we have his prop over 1.5 field goals. And kick is up, and it's good. So that's 1 for Justin Tucker. We need 2 more, and we need 2 from Nick Folk. Now, if I'm still on the stream and Nick Folk comes up and attempts his, I will keep us posted. But right now, we're good to go. Now, this game, Indianapolis Colts versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. We have Gardner Minshew coming in for Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson is hurt, so we know we got Gardner Minshew in the back throwing the ball versus Jacksonville, who's Trevor Lawrence. Now, I have a prop in this bet, and this bet has hit 4 out of the 5 games this year. We're going Trevor Lawrence over 16.5 rush yards, minus 126. And the reason why we're doing that is because he's averaging 26 rushing yards per game. And like I mentioned, he hit the number 4 out of the 5 games so far. So I believe that the Colts will probably need to get the pass rush on Trevor Lawrence, not make him comfortable in that pocket. So this is a division game. Both these teams know each other. So I believe if Trevor Lawrence is going to have to be effective today, he's going to have to scramble out the pocket and make plays. And if he doesn't see on his receivers open, or he doesn't like what he sees, he's going to run that ball, and he's going to try to run for that first down. So we don't need a lot of attempts for him to get this 16.5. He can get this probably in 1 rush, 2 rush, maybe 3 throughout the game. As long as he gets to 17 rushing yards, we cash this prop. Now, this is one of the props that's hit 4 out of the 5 games. So if we continue to keep hitting this prop and he's getting it, these bookies are going to raise that number. So let's continue to keep riding the prop until the bookies raise it. So Trevor Lawrence, over 16.5 rushing yards, minus 126. Let's move over to this one, Minnesota and Chicago. I don't have a play in this game because I looked at the weather. It's supposed to be pretty ugly today, and both of these quarterbacks have been slinging the ball, especially Kirk Cousins, who's averaging 299 passing yards, and they had his prop at over 255.5. So they dropped that number. And also Justin Fields. He's averaging 282 passing yards in his last two games, and they got his number at 197, below 200. So that tells me that they feel that it's going to be a sloppy game. Both of these quarterbacks are not going to be effective the way that they usually are. So that just lets me stay off that because I was leaning towards the over 44 and a half, but this game may go under because both of these teams turn the ball over for the most part. Minnesota, they have 12 turnovers in 5 games. Chicago has 8. They didn't have a turnover the last game, but who's to say they won't revert back to who they normally are in this game? And like I said, it's going to be sloppy. It's supposed to be raining, ball slippery. A lot of variables in this game could happen, and I just wanted to stay away from it. I've learned from trying to find stuff in every game. You got to pay attention to the situations too and the circumstances. And if the weather's not the way it needs to be, we don't have to force a play, ladies and gentlemen. So let's move on to this one. We have the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Cleveland Browns. Now, I don't have an official play in this game, but I did have some mentions. And of course, we already know Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown. It's minus 201 for a reason because he's had a touchdown in pretty much every game versus with the 49ers. I believe he's only had one game he didn't have a touchdown. So that trend has been consistently hitting. That's why the juice is so high. And I looked at Myles Garrett over half a sack, minus 167. And it's the reason why that number's juice. It's because he's averaging a sack a game. Now, if you want to just parlay both of those together, I don't know if you can, but if you can parlay those together, that should bring your price down because I believe both players will hit that. But I just stayed off. There's plenty more times that I could go with these two players because I think this is going to be another defensive game. The 49ers are number one in turnover differential, and Cleveland Browns, they're number one in pass attempts allowed, number one in opponents' pass completions allowed. And, both of these teams are top 5 in rushing yards. So I don't know where the points are going to come from. I don't know who has the advantage. Both defenses are good. Now, the offense for the Browns is going to be, sustaining a huge blow because Deshaun Watson is hurt. But their defense can probably make plays today and slow Purdy down because I do believe this probably is the best secondary Purdy has played so far this year. So I believe that they will make him make mistakes for the most part. Now, they turn the ball over, that's on the 49ers because they only have 2 turnovers in 5 games. So this could be the game that, hey, you can see something different. Cleveland can make them, press and get out of their norm. And, hey, they can easily keep this game low. And I'm leaning towards the under as well. I haven't took it yet, but I'm leaning towards the under. I think both defenses show up today and make both quarterbacks work, especially the backup quarterback for Cleveland. Let's just hope he doesn't make too many mistakes to get the game out of hand and the 49ers just control the game. But let's see if he can control his temperament and just, be a smart, sound quarterback today. Run the ball, and just do that. Hope your field goal kicker can get points for you and just maintain the 49ers high-power offense under 30 points because they're averaging 30 points. So if you can hold them under 30, I think that's a good thing for Cleveland Browns could come out with today. Hold the 49ers under 30 points today. But officially, I don't have anything in this game. Let's move on to this one. The New England Patriots versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, we already know the storyline in this game. Belichick playing his old pupil, Josh McDaniels. So I believe Josh McDaniels will want to make a statement today and beat his mentor for the most part. But I don't have a play in this game. Both quarterbacks throw interceptions. I believe Jimmy Garoppolo leads the NFL with 6 or 7, somewhere around there. And Matt Jones is averaging 2 interceptions in the last 2 games. So nothing official. I don't know what type of offense these teams going to put up. Both of them at the bottom in the league in offensive production. And turnovers. Both of these teams average double-digit turnovers. Now, Devontae Adams, over 74.5 receiving yards, was minus 121. He's hit that 3 out of 5 games. But can you trust that Garoppolo is going to get him 75 yards? It's just something that I can't trust today. I don't like either one of these teams just because of how turnover prone they are. So Devontae might get it 74.5, but hey, I passed on it because, like I said, I don't like pushing for plays and forcing them and like that. If I don't like it, it doesn't feel good. And if it doesn't correlate to what I like, just stay off, man. It's not that hard. Let's have self-discipline when we're doing this. Let's move over to this game. We have Detroit versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Jared Goff versus Baker Mayfield. Now, when I automatically look at this game, I'm going to look at David Montgomery. Anytime touchdown. I think it was at minus 143 because he's had 6 touchdowns in 4 games so far. And Tampa Bay's defenses, they're good for the most part. But if I think Detroit's offense is the way it is, they won 12 out of the last 15 games. I don't think Tampa Bay can slow them down like that to where it gets them out of their rhythm and make them do something that they have normally been doing. So I would suggest David Montgomery's anytime touchdown. Like I said, it's at minus 143. Now, if you want to parlay it with something else to bring the juice down, it's good. But minus 143, hey, it's worth a shot. Put a half unit on it, So he's hit it 6 out of the 4 games. So I believe that if Detroit's going to be effective the way they've been effective, they're going to use David Montgomery a lot because I think Jabbar Gibbs is hurt. So they're going to have to give him the attempts and the touches today. He's going to have to be a high effectiveness in his offense today for Detroit to be winning. And I think David Montgomery could catch that anytime touchdown because he can, like I said, he get it rushing. He can even get it receiving. Tampa Bay might not expect him to come out the backfield and catch a receiving touchdown. But hey, whichever one works, both of them cash. So that's just a look. Haven't took it. Probably won't take it because I have a lot going on right now. But I'm just throwing it out there for y'all to look at and see if it's something that y'all like. Let's get to this game, man. I think I skipped the game, though. Let me go back. I'm sorry. Yeah, I skipped this game. Carolina versus Miami. We got Bryce Young, rookie road start. Not good. Now, Tua hasn't been good as of late, even though their offense is high power. We already know Miami's offense, number 1 in NFL in passing and rushing. We already know that. Now, they did take a hit with A-Chain being injured, the running back that's averaged like 150 yards a game. So that's gone. But for the most part, they still got Tua, and they still got those receivers. Now, on the other side, you got Bryce Young, like I mentioned. Interception-prone quarterback. They have 8 turnovers in 5 games. They have 4 turnovers in the last 2 games. Now, correlating to that, they have Bryce Young's interception at minus 162. He's averaging 2 interceptions in his last 2 games. And the fact that I believe Miami can make it uncomfortable for him today, I believe he will throw an interception because that's what he's been doing. And minus 162 is a lot of juice. It's the reason why. So I looked at Tua. He's had 2 interceptions the last 2 games, and they have that at minus 109. So if I believe Tua is going to have a lot of pass attempts because he knows his number 1 running back is out right now, and Carolina, if they could key on that run game and stop them, Tua's going to have to throw the ball today. So what's the chances of him throwing a pick? Because he's thrown 2 interceptions the last 2 games in a game, averaging 2 interceptions his last 2 games. So for him to be perfect today and not throw an interception, knowing that he has to pass the ball a lot, common sense tells me that he's likely to throw one. And if I can parlay both of those interceptions together, that should give you a nice number to bring that juice down. So I haven't taken it, but I just want to throw that out there. You can parlay Tua, interception, minus 109, Bryce Young's interception, minus 162, and see what it gets you. But other than that, I just want to throw that out there. Now, I am on a play in this game. We have Adam Thielen, over 5.5 receiving yards, minus 157. And the reason why I'm on that is because he's hit that number 4 straight games. He's averaging 9 receptions in those games. So for him to get over 5.5 receptions, he needs 6. I believe Bryce Young can do that because I believe that's consistently who he's been looking for, especially like a safety net. When he sees pressure coming, he can look for Thielen because he knows he's reliable. He can catch the ball. I think he could get 6 receptions today because he's hitting in 4 straight games. So let's jump on the trend. He's being consistent with it. And Bryce Young trusts him. So Adam Thielen, over 55.5 receiving yards, receptions. I'm sorry. Adam Thielen, over 5.5 receptions. minus 157. I know it's juice, but hey, like I say, the juice is worth the squeeze. Now let's move over to this game. It's a lot of looks in this game, ladies and gentlemen. I broke this game down for a while, and I see a lot I like in this game. I didn't take everything, but I see a lot in this game. So we're going to start off Arizona Cardinals. Division game, going down to SoFi to take on the Rams. Rams coming off a loss versus the Eagles. Now, I do want to mention this. I've been tracking something this year because it was something I was tracking last year. I mentioned at the beginning of the season that last year, teams that played the 49ers one week, that next week, they end up losing. That trend was very, very high last year. Now this year, it's 1-3. Something's also 1-3. The Rams. Opposing quarterbacks, opposing teams that played the Eagles previous is 1-3. So if I go with that trend, I'm saying the Cardinals are going to win this game. But I don't have any faith in that just because of the matchup. So that's just something I wanted to throw out there. Pay attention to that, though. Teams that play the Eagles, look at them the next week and see their matchup because they possibly could lose that game because the Eagles defense, they beat you up. You know, they're very good in the trenches. So just pay attention to that. But let's get back to this. Arizona versus the Rams. We got Josh Dobbs versus Matt Stafford today. Now, on the side of the Cardinals, I got Josh Dobbs interception, averaging 2 interceptions his last 2 games. And we're looking at Matt Prater over 1.5 field goals minus 118. So those two things can correlate to me because the fact that James Conner's out for the Cardinals, I don't believe they're going to be able to trust their rookie running back. I believe he's a rookie, second string running back, whatever he is. I don't believe they'll be able to trust him today for the most part. So Joshua Dobbs is going to have to throw the ball and make plays. And the fact that he's going to have a lot of attempts, I believe he's going to be prone to throw an interception because he's averaging 2 interceptions in his last 2 games. So for him to throw an interception today with all the attempts that he had, breaking. Nick Folk is going to attempt the field goal, ladies and gentlemen. Baltimore stopped him in the red zone. Kick is up and good. So we're 1 for 1, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Tucker over 1.5 field goal. He has one already. Nick Folk over 1.5 field goal. He has one already. And it's just the first quarter. 5 minutes left. So I believe, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking very good on that if he took it. But back to this game. Like I said, Josh Dobbs interception. I believe he's going to throw an interception today because he has to have a lot of attempts considering how they're suffering from the run game. Matt Prater over the 1.5 field goals. If they so happily get into field goal position, Matt Prater is a money field goal kicker, and he will get you 2 field goals for the most part. He can kick a 50-yarder. He's very, very trustworthy that way. So you can parlay that. Joshua Dobbs interception, Matt Prater over the 1.5 field goals, or you could take it separate. I think those are good looks on the Cardinals side. Now, on the Rams side is where the money's at. Matthew Stafford, over 25.5 pass completions, minus 106. And the reason why we're on that is because the Arizona Cardinals defense allows 72% to the opponent's completion percentage, which is dead last in the NFL. And they will allow 7+ receivers to catch a ball in every game, allowing 27 completions to the opposing cornerback the last 4 games. So that lets me know that the secondary is suffering very much. They tend to key on the run game and stop you from running, but they're very vulnerable in the secondary. You can give up a lot of passing yards and pass completions. Now, the reason why I didn't take Matthew Stafford's passing yards, which is at 277.5 minus 114, they dropped that because it was 280 maybe a couple days ago, like at the beginning of the week. So you dropped that to 77 is letting me know that the money isn't coming in on that side. So they're going to drop that number to entice you to get it. If you trust the stat and trust the tendency of the defense for the Cardinals, you're better off just taking the completions because Joe Burrow hit his completions last week. And like I said, they've allowed these quarterbacks to get completions on their secondary. So if Matthew Stafford is going to be throwing the ball today, I wish he would. I believe he will. he's going to get those completions because he has receivers that can catch the ball. He has Cooper Kupp back, which mentioned anytime touchdown, minus 126, because I believe Cooper Kupp could get a touchdown today. He's back, he's healthy, and Matthew Stafford's going to be looking for him. He's also going to be looking for his number one receiver so far in Nakuya. So that's a heads right there. And also, another person to look at, Tyler Higbee. Over 33 and a half receiving yards, minus 110. Another receiver that Matthew Stafford can be effective with, because Tyler Higbee's averaging 51 yards, 4 out of his last 5 games, receiving yards. And I dug a little bit more. He's averaging 59 yards in his last 8 games versus Arizona going back to 2019. And one thing I want to mention as well, Arizona has trouble guarding the tight end position as well, sort of like the Falcons. So if we're going to key in on some situations today, let's key on that tendency that the Cardinals cannot guard that position. Tyler Higbee has been effective for this team, and we know that Matthew Stafford is not scared to throw the ball. So all those things correlate to a Matthew Stafford over 25 and a half pass completions. It correlates to Cooper Kupp anytime touchdown. And we can correlate to Higbee over 33 and a half receiving yards. All those plays I have already bet, and I am going to be looking forward to cash today. I believe that Matthew Stafford will take advantage of the Cardinals secondary. Now, honorable mention, Aaron Donald, sack, plus 110. Now, I think he only has like 2 sacks on the season so far, but Aaron Donald, you always can just sprinkle a little bit on him, because he brings pressure. And the fact that the Cardinals are not going to be able to run the ball, in my opinion, it's going to open up a lot of lanes for Aaron Donald, to make plays and possibly sack the quarterback. Now, if you want to parlay Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald's sack over half a sack, I believe that'll give you a nice plus price too. So those are 2 things you can parlay, take a look at, because both of those players are effective when it comes to sack percentage. So Myles Garrett, parlay his half a sack with Aaron Donald's half a sack. And that should get you a nice price and get you some money. So let's move on to this next game, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Eagles taking on the New York Jets. And when we're looking at the Jets defense, the Jets defense allows 146 rushing yards. They allow 32 rush attempts, which is ranked 31st in the NFL. So I did some digging and I said, rush attempts. Who runs the ball a lot on the Eagles? Oh, Swift. He's the running back. But more importantly, the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. And I looked at his prop, and it's over 9.5 attempts. And he's had 9+ carries in all 5 of his games. Now, the fact that it's 9.5 is one of the reasons why I tell y'all, if y'all continue to keep taking a bet and it keeps cashing, the bookies are going to raise the number. And I'm pretty sure this number has been at 9, probably 8.5 for the most part all season. Now you raise it to 9.5 because you see Jalen Hurts is cashing this prop. So they're already on it, ladies and gentlemen. They pushed it to 9.5. So for that reason, I stayed off because I have to see him get 10. He's gotten 10 already, a couple games, but let's see if he can get to 10. I just want to see it happen. I haven't bet it, but I am on their field goal kicker, Jake Elliott, over 1.5 field goals, because he's has 16 field goals made on the season, which is number 1 in the NFL, averaging 3 per game. So if I say that this trend continues, he should get over 1.5 field goals because I believe Philly can get into the red zone in the Jets, and then maybe they can hold him a couple of times. But Jake Elliott's money, he's hit 50-yarders this year. He's the number 1 field goal kicker in the NFL. So might as well just stay on him. Take the guy that's been effective all year, which is leading the league in that stat. So Jake Elliott, over 1.5 field goals. And I mentioned by Jalen Hurts. I didn't take it, but over 9.5 carries could be a sneaky look because I believe he can get the 10, but I want to see him get the 10 before I take it. Now, last game, ladies and gentlemen, Sunday Night Football. We have the New York Giants going to Buffalo to take on these Buffalo Bills. Buffalo's coming off a loss in London versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're coming back home. And when Buffalo comes home, especially off a loss, they are relentless, ladies and gentlemen. So, full disclosure, I'm already on the first half, -8.5. I believe they jump on the Giants early, like they do, because Josh Allen has covered the first half spread at home 12 out of his last 14 games, going back to December of 2021. Now, what I'm on in this game is Josh Allen. Because Josh Allen performs at home, ladies and gentlemen. So, first bet, Josh Allen, 2+ touchdowns, Buffalo to win, -152. I took that because Josh Allen has had 2+ touchdowns 3 out of his last 4 games. So, not to mention, I mentioned he plays well at home. He's had 3 out of his last 4 games, 2 passing touchdowns. So, if I'm expecting him to get 2+ touchdowns, I'm expecting Buffalo to win. I'm going to take that correlation prop. Now, I'm not done. Let's take Josh Allen's 3+ touchdowns and Buffalo to win, +134. Because I believe he's going to eat up the Giants defense today. I don't think they have anything to be effective to stop Josh Allen. And Dable is the old offensive coordinator for Buffalo who's coming back to Buffalo to play his whole team. And I believe that Josh Allen is going to want to prove a point, to say, hey, we don't need you. Not to say we didn't like to have you, but we're still the same team as we were, probably even better when you left. So, Josh Allen, 2+ touchdowns, and I'm on his 3+ touchdowns, and Buffalo to win, +134 is that prop. Now, ladies and gentlemen, game break. Justin Tucker is attempting his second field goal of this game because the Titans stopped them in the red zone. The kick is up and good. So we've already hit one, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Tucker over 1.5 field goals. And we're just waiting on Nick Folk to hit another field goal and we cash this parlay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, back to Buffalo. Josh Allen. I'm going to take his rushing touchdown because he's had rushing touchdowns 7 out of his last 9 games. And for the simple fact that the Buffalo is a running team, not necessarily running team. I'm sorry, let me take that back. They need to be more effective in the run game. And I believe that they have been. And for me to think that the Giants allow the most rushing touchdowns at 2 games, Josh Allen should cash a rushing touchdown. If he gets in the red zone, if he sees something he likes and the field opens wide open, Josh Allen can sprint. He can get that first down and probably get you a touchdown. So Josh Allen, rushing touchdown, +120. Or it's anytime touchdown. You could say that. But I'm going for the rushing touchdown. That means anytime touchdown, he has to run it in. So +120. Now, I took another one. Buffalo has scored 30+ points at home 8 out of their last 10 games. I took Josh Allen, 3+ touchdowns, Buffalo to win, and the team total over 29.5. That gets me at a +161, ladies and gentlemen. So I am all on Josh Allen today. I'm all on Buffalo today. I think it's a horrible spot for the Giants, who are so anemic offensively, at bottom of the league, and Buffalo is coming off a loss, coming home. Great scenario for them. This is where they've been very effective in the past years, so I'm going to take advantage of it. So just to repeat it for y'all, Josh Allen, 2+ touchdowns, Buffalo to win, -152. Josh Allen, 3+ touchdowns, Buffalo to win, +134. Josh Allen, rushing touchdown, +120. Josh Allen, 3+ touchdowns, Buffalo to win, team total over 29.5, +161. And that's a Sunday night game. So as I watch these games during the day on Sunday, I'm going to be looking to cash in very, very well on this Sunday night game. So, Josh Allen, I'm riding you today. I believe this is a good spot for you. And I believe that you're going to make all those props that I just read out today. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Those are all my props. Those are all the games that we went through. So, like I said, I don't have the banners. I don't have a recap. But, hey, you can rewind it. Watch it for yourself. Go back and take notes. See what you like because I gave it out. It's 9 o'clock right now, Central Time. So, you have 3 hours to look at 10, 11, 12. Yeah, you have 3 hours to look at what you want to see, take what you want to get, and see if you can get some money, ladies and gentlemen. So, until next week. LJ from H-Town, back at you. Week 6, NFL props. Hopefully we get some money. We can get some cash and continue to keep getting these bookies in the eye hole, like we say. So, till then, RaWordzPodcast, LJ from H-Town, I'm out.
Yeah, R-A-W, words being served, no concern and no trouble to get that dough. Money on my mind, if it's money all the time, we be pumping on the grind. If it's LJ from Houston, pulling up stats, you'll be pulling in stacks, hitting bookies from the back with no Vaseline. I need green and upsea quantities for a fiend, save the dreams for a king. This is H-Town, home of the lean. Astros is the team and we rock it. We rock Texans for life, you can't stop it. Together like brothers and vets, injects cash in your